Yeah, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another Ori in the Blind tournament. Oh, I always say that Ori in the Blind Forest tournament match. I am Lurking Assassin. I'm joined with Voligen yet again.
What's up?
Hello.
What have we got today for us, Lurking?
We got The Roos is Loose against UncleRonny, which is obviously going to be a one-sided game where Roos destroys Ronnie, but we might see a close game in some odd scenario.
That is a thing to say about this race. Yeah, as you know, Roos has the advantage here of a 3 minutes? Yeah, 3 minutes slower PB.
Yeah.
Ronnie being the disadvantage of being the world record holder, so it's going to be really tough for him to overcome that and win this race by getting a slower time. I think that's how this all works, right?
Yeah. So world record holder goes slower because he has the world record, but
right,
whatever.
You have to get a higher score, right?
It's complicated, so let's just not talk about it anymore. So, Vula, you want to tell us more about them?
I thought we weren't talking about it anymore.
Well, not about who is, like, how world record affects you negatively. We're talking just about who these people are.
Okay, got it. Well, UncleRonny is, as far as I know, the only Ori runner from Israel, and he is incredibly skilled to a ludicrous extent. Holds the world record currently over some incredibly good competition. And, he has just done incredible things with this game, including succeeding that 4-in-2 all-skills run of doing 4 all-skills runs in 2 hours from start to finish, including reset time. And the Roos is Loose, meanwhile, is a giant meme lord. Really would rather be playing Breath of the Wild right now. He told us that he hopes, he believes he'll consider it a victory if he finds a Korok seed during this race.
Yeah.
Where do you think we'll find a Korok seed in Nibel?
Yeah, Reese hasn't really been even playing this game at all. Like, I think he said he told me he did 2 runs today, but aside of that, he hasn't played since his last race, which has been over a week.
Yeah, and being not memey about this, Roos does pretty much believe he has no chance to win this race. So rather than, going hardcore on practice to try to knock off the world record holder in a race, he's just going to play his own game, and he's mostly been focusing on trying to make sure he's just in a good place mentally so that when he goes down to the lower bracket, as he expects he will, then he can do well there.
Yeah, definitely. But except that Reese is not going to do that well in the lower bracket because I will beat him when I get there.
Oh, but that assumes you beat Smashy first, so... Alright, we got a lot of trash talk going on tonight. This is pretty good, but we are getting started here now, and we'll see. No difference on prologue skips, happily, so neither runner needs to reset.
Right now.
We didn't see Ronnie get the prologue skip soft lock either, so that's good.
Oh yeah, it's always good to see that. Wait, Vula, how do you get the soft lock? I've never had it, so how does it work?
I believe that you skip the prologue on the first possible frame that you can skip it. That is my understanding.
Okay, that's why I never thought it. Because I'm always slow.
Yeah, exactly. I wasn't trying to say that, but I was.
Yeah, I'll recite that comment because it's very true.
Well, we are nearing the Spirit Flame, the first skill pickup in this game, and we'll soon get started with the real play where there might be some real deficit, but for now, the runners are literally tied.
Yeah, exactly. Like, that's all that Roos needs to do. He was feeling unconfident. He just has to play the rest of the game the same way he played his first 1 minute, and then he'll get a 28.
So play literally exactly the same pace as Ronnie.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I mean, that seems...
You were able to do it in the first minute, why can't you do it in the rest of the run, right?
Well, do you want a list of all the reasons, or...?
We would not be done by the end of the day if we do that.
Yeah, as you can see, Ronnie's already opened up a very small lead. I wouldn't expect it to grow that much during the wall jump segment, but he is very fast at this segment, as he is at every segment of the game, so it wouldn't be surprising to see several seconds here, as Roos is going to, again... Yep.
Yeah. He's already like 2 jumps ahead of Roos or so.
Is that like a specific time measurement unit? 1 jump?
Yeah. Because, like, you know how, like, in the first part you jump, kind of, like, everyone jumps in the same pattern, so it's just the best way to time it, instead of saying, like, oh, he's 2 seconds behind, he's 1 jump behind.
Okay, that makes sense. Well, they do both get their 1 HP swim, which means they both get the quick Ghost Door, and they'll be able to head up to pick up the 4th HP, which Ronnie actually does. This is my favorite thing about Ronnie as a runner. He was able to take the world record while taking this 4th health cell at the beginning of the game, whereas all the other 28 holders skip it. Actually, I guess that's not true. Hydra doesn't skip it, but shh.
That's you never said that. There is no proof that you lied about Hydra's gameplay.
I would never lie about Hydra's gameplay. Oh, Ronnie getting the energy drop, which is just kind of an annoyance. So it stops him up for 1 second, but he is still able to damage Roos through the bramble wall and take it out. Roos doing the same. Ronnie gets the flower skip on the way down. Roos instead chooses to just take the XP from the flower, but they will both be getting the level up on the way out.
Yeah, because Roos was a little low. I'm not sure exactly which XP he missed or skipped, but he needed both flowers to level up.
I do believe that Roos is going for the Slime Genocide route. I believe Ronnie will be going for it as well. So we'll see their XP routes work out for that, and that does count on the level up on the way out. But Roos, you can tell how likely he thinks he is to win this race, as he has popped into the Speed Gaming chat to say that he got a 322 wall jump and he is still losing by a lot, because that is just how good
322 is a solid wall jump time. Like, it's generally what you're happy with that if you get it in a regular run. But as you see against Ronnie, that doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, I mean, in my attempts to get a 29, I am totally satisfied with a 322.
Yeah.
Roos certainly is happy with it, but unfortunately, Ronnie's just a beast.
322 is actually my goal for that split, and still nowhere near Ronnie's average tournament run.
So they are both still chugging along, though. No major mistakes from Roos or anything. He's going to continue playing really well, I would expect. But Ronnie's just going to put on a clinic here. It'll take some really significant mistakes from Ronnie to allow Roos a real chance here. But we'll see. Ori is Ori. Lots of things could happen. Maybe he has 15 shots phased through on Swamp Entry. Who knows?
Well, we do know that Ronnie is 2 seconds ahead of PB. Do you know what else that means?
Probably almost nothing.
Is that Ronnie is on world record pace right now.
Yeah, that's not going to last, so it's fine. But it is very interesting. To,
Sigma knew what I was getting at.
God dang it, Sigma. In any case, I had misspoken. Ronnie's not going for Slime Genocide. He is going for the normal Black Root route. Actually, I believe, if I recall correctly, I did have an exchange with him about this. I think he said he does the Genocide in runs, but in PB attempts, but not in tournament races. He just goes for reload there. I think Wilson does the same, actually.
I mean, it's fair enough. Genocide is kind of a riskier thing to do, so you might not want to risk to lose that time just in hopes of saving like 5 or so seconds. I'm actually not sure how much time it does save, but
I believe it's about 4 total if you consider all of the possible differences. But yeah, Roos is going for it. He says, I'm confident enough to do this route in this run. And Ronnie, meanwhile, is making it up to the platforms a little bit late, so he'll lose the cycle, but not his life, and that's really enough. Roos had to wait a lot. Oh no, Roos missing the cycle.
Also missing it. I'm surprised that he didn't go for a reload, because the platform was far enough down that I think he would have saved him time if he did do that.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's not something a lot of runners actively think about. Black Root Burrows is kind of a place where your brain sort of shuts off a little bit, or you are thinking about other things like your XP route. So it's not super easy to think about, you know, making adjustments like that on the fly.
Yeah, I guess it is like depending on the person. Some people always reload no matter where the cycle is, or just don't reload. So I guess it's just not in Roos's muscle memory to do a reload. Either, as we see, neither of them are on world record pace. Neither of them are on world record pace. Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct. And
it sounded weird.
Yeah, it's a real shame. You know, we were really expecting to see a world record here because we are unreasonable people with unreasonable expectations, but unfortunately not. Ronnie going for the dash cutscene stack lurking.
Yeah, he is not fazed about what happened earlier today. He's like, well, I could do it. I'm world record. I could do anything I want.
I like that wording. I'm world record. Well, we will see if the blind movement causes any spookiness for him.
I don't expect it, but then again, I just said that as a commentator, so...
Oh my god, it happened.
It's real. It's real, everyone. You can blame me on that.
I'm telling you guys, don't do this crap. This is the worst.
So, Roos is in the lead. He is not on world record pace, but potentially on world record pace.
Yeah, whereas for Ronnie, it's all over, as the stats overlay indicates. He thought for a moment about going to a backup save, but he's just going to climb out. Honestly, as dumb as this is a surmountable mistake for him. Eventually, he'll be able to get back on track, and Roos is still going to be thinking, even if he's watching, he's still going to be thinking, Ronnie's going to catch me before too long. I'm still terrified.
Yeah, it's just weird getting back up there because you are so used to getting through this area carrying the orb. So when you don't have the orb, Ori just feels like it's moving so fast and you can't really climb that easily anymore.
Yeah, it's the same exact thing that happened to Pixel. Roos getting the optimal Frankie jumps there, actually, but he didn't recognize it, so he safely waited for the next jump to make sure they didn't kill the Frankie too early. Ronnie is back at full HP, so he did take 1 damage from that slime, but that's okay. He can afford it. He does need to have at least 2 HP to be able to survive the spikes as he goes through the Death Gauntlet. And Roos, meanwhile, is into the Death Gauntlet, and no deaths for him there, so it's more like just...
I am kind of glad that he had to heal there, because the fact that he healed, that also saved. So even, I don't expect it to happen, but if he dies on the Death Gauntlet, at least he's not going to end up being at the bottom of BRB.
Yeah, that's for sure. And he is able to get one framed by that cycle. Oh. I just, wow, dude. He also unfortunately got killed by the dropping slime. But that's so rude. And that's
not what Roos wanted. He was maybe getting slight hopes, even though knowing Roos, he still thought he would lose after what happened to Ronnie, but this is painful.
Yep, and he missed it the second time. He was going for it. He didn't... You know, he didn't want to say, I'm just going to abandon this trick the second time, but unfortunately wasn't able to pull it off. Ronnie now gets his attempt. I would not be surprised to see him get this. And there it is. Right. Despite that low
25% chance.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you just have a tough time in tournament races, but this is not one where he did.
It's very precise that it's as good as you are. If you are like just a little bit fast or slow, you could miss it.
Yeah, it's a precise sequence of inputs, but that's also a precise sequence of inputs, but Ronnie taking a death, unfortunately. So maybe a little bit rattled from the BRB swap, but he is already caught up to within just a few seconds of Roos thanks to the Grotto Cycle death.
Yeah. So Roos probably won't keep this lead for too much longer, given that like Ronnie is just probably gonna rip through this entire section, which is very difficult. So, and Ronnie has very wonderful wall jumping skills and such, so...
Yep, but Roos, heading into Grotto Skip, he is 100% for this in the tournament, has had no issues so far, does not opt to change that pattern. Ronnie, how about him? Coming to the same trick?
Yeah.
Nope, no problem.
It's just an easy wall jump. How hard can it be to not get it first try?
I mean, hey, I did it for 2 years without even knowing the correct inputs for it.
Wait, how?
Don't ask questions you don't want to know the answer to.
Alright.
Oh man, Ronnie actually getting a little bit blocked by that one awkward wall jump, but he is able to make it up now. So Roos is still able to maintain a little bit of the lead, but Ronnie's movement, you just see how clean those little things are, and so he's able to save little seconds here and there.
He's going for some nice ninja jumps. I didn't know he went for all these. I thought he only did that on top of ledges, but...
Yeah, for most humans, they're really not going to save time. I like that they're both going for that dash glide across that gap as well. That also, for most humans, loses time rather than saving it. For some reason, everyone does it, but I don't know why. It's slower.
Does it lose you time? It gets you further into the area, so why does it lose you time?
because then you have to climb the wall slowly instead of dashing and doing fast things.
Interesting. So I've been losing time intentionally for a while now.
Yep. Sigma apparently came up with that last year, like for the finals of the tournament, but he already knew it was slower. I don't know why people do it. In any case, Ronnie does now take the lead because he does not need that ability cell that Roos just picked up. So that allows him to get back ahead, and he gets this early cycle on the spinnies, very nicely executed. So that's going to save even more time.
So as I said, Ronnie will probably end up ahead in this section, and he did. He's already ahead of Roos again.
Yeah, what an incredible player. You see how good he is. And you see that he is setting a new worst Enter Ginso time for himself in the tournament that is still faster than Roos's average for Enter Ginso. So that's how...
12-minute worst.
Yeah.
That's...
Yeah, dude.
That's like better than most people's best.
That's correct. That is Ronnie. He's just such a treat to watch, and you know, now you see this room. He's going to try for a slightly fast cycle on these schemers, and that is very well executed. And then he gets bonked by another one. Unfortunately, he's able to recover, and Roos is now working on the same room, and he'll probably try a safer strat here.
Yeah, he still went for the one faster cycle, but not that insane cycle that Ronnie went for.
Yep, and Roos going for that bottom strat there, which again is a second faster, but then he missed that jump on the jump pad, so he probably lost the time save there.
Yeah, and he did pick up the health pickup, so he will, I think he will miss the cycle, so he does, yeah.
Yeah, no problem there. I mean, he couldn't have made that cycle anyway without doing the Mr. Asmus manipulations, so not really any lost time for him relative to what he was already going to get. Mini boss for Ronnie is one of the few players in the world who is likely or capable of getting a 4 cycle on this mini boss. This looks very close.
Oh my, he was one shot away.
Wow, dude.
No one's gonna join Hydra in the Cool Kids Club yet.
Yeah, it's so ludicrously hard to pull that off. Roos is getting the more standard 8 shots per cycle, and he's able to pull off a 5 cycle, so he's still a little bit slower than Ronnie on that mini boss, but not by a lot.
Yeah. He's still not much behind. Like, I would say just a small mistake from Ronnie would put Roos in the lead, but that's really not something we would expect to happen.
Yeah, I mean, you're basically, and I hate to harp on this because it sounds like you're just bagging on one of the runners, but really, for all intents and purposes, what we're watching here is 2 players doing 2 different runs of Ori. One of them is probably going to finish around 30 minutes, and the other is probably going to finish around 32. And there's only a slim likelihood.
Like, nothing against Roos. Roos is one of the best runners. He has a very good time, but it's just Ronnie is on a whole next level of good, so...
Yeah, just to be clear, Ronnie is number 1 in the world. Roos is number 22. That's not bad, considering there's over 100 players on the Ori leaderboard. But yeah, that's just the difference between the runners. And Roos is certainly not embarrassing himself with his performance so far. The only real time loss for him, as far as a major time loss, was that 1 frame death to the Crushers. Yeah, that's not really, you can't call that his fault.
Yeah. Like, it's not RNG or anything, it was his movement that caused it, but it's just so impossible to prevent it in some scenarios. Like, it's hard to get consistent and learn how to prevent it other than just not going for the trick. Like, it will happen sometime.
Yeah, and of course, when you're up against a player whose PB is 3 minutes faster than yours, you can't afford not to go for the trick. So, yeah, he did. Unfortunate consequences, but now... he's still, as you mentioned, pretty close behind, and that's speaking volumes about his level of performance as well. Yeah,
just being able to keep almost the same pace as Ronnie, just being like maybe like 20-30 seconds behind already is a big achievement.
Alright, well, we have Ronnie approaching the swamp entry, which is always an exciting trick, and he will be skipping the cutscene here, which will cause him to have to do some blind movement, but save about 1 second overall. He is apparently running at a 67% clip on this trick. He does take some damage in the spikes, so he actually loses some of the time from the cutscene skip, and here we go with the swamp entry lurking.
Yeah, so far, very fast, very clean. He is going for it. double bashes, but he bashed that frog a little bit too far in. But no face shots and just missed it barely.
Yeah, just barely short, but he will be able to get a good shot on the second try.
It like phased for a second.
Wow, it phased through the
weird,
ceiling and fell back down.
Still broke it, so I guess that is a success.
Still counts. Roos is going to be doing some double bashes as well. A very similar strat, but not grabbing the ability cell beforehand, instead grabbing it during the shot animation. So still, very good job by Roos. First try, not having any weirdness with his shots missing. So good job by him, actually, making up a little bit of time.
So Ronnie is ahead of his worst time now, even with all the problems that he had. So that just says about how good his pace has been.
Yeah, and his performance after that. Yep. And you know, it shows you also something about the top runners when you see that he makes a mistake like missing the dash cloud, the dash cutscene stack, and falls to the bottom and gets a save there. But he has the mental composure to still recover that. That too, right there with that frog, pushing it just a little too far on the bash, but he's still able to recover and not have the frog die and not miss the ability cell. So not turning that into a big time loss for him and a time gain for Roos.
Well, he's doing a cutscene skip. Nothing else. Exactly. What cutscene?
I've never seen one.
Yeah.
Except all the times that I missed the trick, you know. Roos opting for the slightly slower, by which I mean less than a second slower method of bashing the frog up once to get a better bash angle towards the ability cell. Well,
I'm not sure if he always does that. It's just because Ringo was a little bit too far to the right than you would want him to, so maybe that's why he opted for that, but...
He goes for the Kuro cutscene skip and pulls
Sigma
it off.
is right, he is fine.
But yeah, actually he always goes for that extra bash on Ringo. Just because it's such a small time loss, less than a fraction of a second, and it just makes it so much easier.
Yeah, missing that... Wait, what was I gonna say? I mean, yeah, killing Ringo is a really bad time loss because you're just gonna have to either reset your load or actually just play the minigame and break two of the platforms and then use a third shot to bash up to that. So...
Well, he is now making his way into Charge Flame trees. He's able to recover cleanly from, Ronnie was able to recover cleanly from his minor issues with the frog earlier, but Roos not having any types of issues, so he's still playing very well, but he is around what appears to be 30 seconds behind as of Charge Flame. And Ronnie pulling out some really nice frog strats there, so that might be saving him even another little bit of time again over Roos.
That is a kind of another one of those really not worth going for skips, or I should say tricks, unless you're way, way up there in PBs. It's just so risky for it.
Stompless, right? 3 guesses. I'm gonna guess 100%.
Yeah, 100%. And I guess
still
more
100%.
than 100%.
Yep.
Is that how it works?
No, Sigma just says yep.
Yeah. I think he's saying yep to what you said, not what I said, so...
Okay, fair enough.
I thoroughly hope that Sigma knows that if you have 100% and then you add another success, it doesn't go over 100.
No, it really does.
It does? Okay.
Okay,
I should have paid more attention in that class.
Yeah, that's right, dude. And Roos is working on fast Stompless. His shot angle looks pretty good. Roos has definitely told us in his past this is a trick he's very comfortable with, and he's sure showing it here. That is a success. Ronnie with the Star Dash.
Another first try. Just first tries everywhere. I think Cleanfell would be happy right now.
Dude, he would be ecstatic. If he were here, what the heck, dude? Come watch some Ori.
Meanwhile, crazy juggle going on. Nothing that interesting. We should just...
Oh, well, it was going on. Now we're sad. It's fine. We're just gonna get another frog.
Another frog. That's how this game works. Just abuse frogs to go faster.
Yeah, he's putting that frog skill to good use that he collected earlier.
He's
And
just gonna
now
go for double dashes instead.
Huh. Oh, did he damage it earlier? I guess he must have.
No, he actually said that. He told us that before his match that if he does,
Oh God!
Okay. That would have put Roos in the lead if that frog just went one more centimeter to the left. But yeah, well, Ronnie did specify that if he misses Crazy Juggle, he's gonna go for double dashes with the second frog.
Okay, I see. Yeah, it's not a bad backup. Roos, meanwhile, is able to do what actually turns out to be a slightly faster Sara strategy, as he is going to make his way into charge jump. So the lead will be a little bit unclear for just a little bit, because Roos, using the Terror Break method, goes to charge jump first, whereas Ronnie goes to the Sunstone first. They do have to each go to the opposite location, so as they exit Sara, we'll see who's still in the lead. Looks like Ronnie was
about a minute ahead of his best charge jump time, so he's making crazy good pace.
That's really good to hear. Like, the thing that you want to see from Roos in this race is just solid execution, and so far he has delivered.
Yeah, definitely. Like, the only reason he's not in the lead is because he is fighting Ronnie, but for himself, he is making great times. He's just gonna float back up a little bit.
Yep, and Ronnie has picked up charge jump, so it does look like he has managed to maintain that lead pretty well. Not a huge surprise, there was some spaghetti there, but it wasn't enough to really offset the prior lead of around 40 seconds. So he'll just be making his way out of Sara. Roos actually, may have gained a pretty fair bit of time. He just needs to wait for this cutscene so that he can save, and then he'll be leaving Sara.
I actually feel like their lead is kind of small, that if Roos didn't get one framed and then killed by the Suicide Slime and then ended up missing the cycle again, he would be almost tied with Ronnie right now.
Yeah, that's a really good point. We'll see how this continues as Roos stomps his way out of Sara, but Ronnie is making incredibly good time in Misty. This late game is just absolutely incredible for Ronnie. His times in this segment, or in this section I should say, are just completely ludicrous, beyond the realm of most mortal men.
Yeah, he is definitely not a normal person, especially not when it comes to Ori speedrunning.
And everything is totally fine and safe as he makes his way to the climb tree. Roos is just hoping to follow as quickly as he can, and he is executing very well as well. Oh no, that wasn't scary at all. Everything's alright, dude.
Yeah, I don't know what I was scared about. He was just randomly stomping a frog just to show him that he was proving his dominance over the Misty Woods.
Right, assert dominance just like we, humans do in Ori by getting.
Oh god, wow. Ronnie dashing into some spikes.
Yeah, that shows off actually the property of dash, that it resets your invulnerability frames. Normally when you take damage, you have a period of time where you can't take damage again. But if you dash, those iframes go right away, and you will take damage instantly. So, yeah, not a good time for him, but he's okay so far this second time.
Yeah, so far he's fine. Ronnie did say that he will be taking a safety save after the 4th keystone, so I think if he gets past this section, he should be safe for now.
Yep, that looks like that's the plan. There it is.
He's probably gonna go for a couple rocket jumps and some cool meatball strats.
Yep. That's...
Oh, he burned the energy. He's out.
Okay, everything's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, he'll come into the meatball, the mini boss here, and pull off an attempt at a quick kill called. Yeah, he does get the kill. The level up explosion, killing the mini boss. Roos, having gotten climb, is making his way through the same area. No death for him so far, which, I mean, I hope that I'm not cursing him, but he's around, I would say, 30 seconds behind right now, which is a surprisingly low amount.
Yeah, exactly. So Roos has just been playing phenomenally. I know he will go for meatball strats, so he is taking that risk, but it doesn't matter. He gets up there even cleaner than Ronnie did.
Yeah, this is really great play by both runners. Ronnie overcoming, just a little bit of spaghetti earlier on with the problem with the dash cutscene stack, and still continuing to assert his authority over Roos. But Roos saying, maybe I am going to lose this race. But I'm going to put on a damn good show here, so that's what we're seeing so far.
Maybe this is where Roos starts regretting not practicing, because he is getting close to Ronnie, so... I don't think that's what he expected. I'm pretty sure Roos expected a completely one-sided match where he was nowhere close to where Ronnie was.
Yeah, and I mean, given the evidence Ronnie had put forth in the tournament so far, that certainly was a reasonable assumption. He is still on what could be just shy of 31 pace, so still could get a very solid time. He very nearly took a death there. He waited in the spikes almost long enough to get killed, but not long enough, and he's still okay to get the grenade tree. Roos coming in now for his as well.
I'm going for some cool grenade jumps, very cleanly executed and chained with that other... Oh god!
Oh wow. That's a very costly death for Ronnie. Suddenly,
yeah,
it's really close.
They're actually high-fiving, it's that close.
This is unexpected lurking. This is legitimately in striking distance for Roos right now.
Yeah, it's just a few mistakes for Ronnie in the final segments, and Roos can't catch up.
That said, there are going to have to be some pretty big mistakes, as Ronnie's execution leaving grenade was incredible. Roos is 2 seconds behind his PB right now, or 1, we're hearing from the truck. That is incredible. He could even be on PB pace, and that is exactly what he needs to be able to even, contest Ronnie in a race like this.
I was actually talking to Roos yesterday, and he told me he doesn't expect to get another PB in this game, maybe ever.
Wow.
And now he is a second away after not playing for so long. Oh god, Roos, get out of there.
Oh no.
I just took Sigma's words, I am sorry, but...
Yeah. I mean, wow.
That caused him the PB more than likely, but doesn't change the fact that he is still on very good pace than he would expect it to have done.
Yeah.
Ronnie is about to do door work. I don't expect to see problems there anymore.
His 80% success rate, he will pull it off on the first attempt. Does not need any more than that. But Roos now successfully dodging the boulder this time. That's such a soul-crushing death to take. He is in the Speed Gaming 2 chat to say, "I'm so mad," which I cannot blame him. That's totally understandable.
Yeah. And he also said that that's the second time having it in the tournament, so I guess that hurts even more.
Well, here goes the final escape for Ronnie, and he will have to make some very massive mistakes here to take a loss. So he just needs to execute well as he knows he can do. So far, so good. He's going to come to his 5 HP poison spread. Probably the scariest part of this escape for him.
Yeah, definitely, because he is... Oh god, was it slow? Okay, I don't think
he's
good. But he did take that little delay on that ledge, which I don't think he meant to, so that was just a little bit scary.
Alright, he is clicking with a 2 for 3 success rate on grenade jumps, so here he goes. The aim.
That's 3 for 4 now. That's
GG indeed. Able to make sure to solidify that, to coalesce, to substantiate. I don't know, words are impossible. First try door warp for Roos. Not 66.66% repeating, of course, on this race. He is 100% here tonight.
Yeah. I think it's 100.000 repeating.
Didn't you learn about sig figs in math at some point, dude?
No.
Alright, as Ronnie crosses behind the tree and comes to the finish line with the victory, Roos will be working on the final escape. He is still on very solid pace, unfortunately not PB because of that death to the laser, but should be able to still pull off a very good time.
Yeah, I think it's going to get somewhere in the 32s, which is a great time either ways. I believe Roos can 6 health, I'm not very sure, but even if he does, he didn't need it.
Yeah, well, it did look like he took a damage as he was getting out of the water, so I think he did have the 6 and was able to take advantage. Now we're going for some grenade jumperino.
Yeah, big grenade war.
100.00%, not repeating because sig fix.
Yeah. Hey, come on, we don't gotta like, why would you only give attention to the significant figures? Let's just give the insignificant ones some love as well. So there are infinite of them, and that really doesn't work. But
Well,
either way, Roos will come in with a low 32 time. Just in a few seconds when he gets past that finish.
GG to him. I mean, obviously he will be very salty about, well, I can't assume that he'll be very salty. He won't be happy about having taken that death grenade, but I think he'll be able to at least look back on this race and say he performed pretty well. The final times for both runners, Ronnie finishing up with a 30.51, Roos finishing up with a 32.14.
Yeah, so I guess even that didn't really cost him the game either, so maybe that would make him a little less salty about it, even though he will probably still be mad that he died there.
Yeah, he is in chat again. That would have been a PB without the boulder death. Lol. And that's really impressive, to be honest, coming from him today. After saying that he's basically been mostly playing Breath of the Wild and focusing on school stuff, I mean, he's been very busy with school stuff, so it's been rough for him to find the time to really work on this. But, you know, it's really impressive to see him come and put on a performance like this here today.
Yeah, definitely. It was beautiful to see that he did pull out that time, and hopefully that would give him some hopes of PBing anytime, because he was kind of not expecting that ever. So maybe it would cause him to play more of this game after seeing the solid performance. Yeah,
I certainly hope so. And I mean, of course, with the loss, he does get knocked down to the lower bracket, and he will be going against the eventual victor between you and Smashy and who else is down there?
Me, Smashy, or Sully. It's really anyone's game, but
wow, yeah.
He will be playing against someone.
So he definitely still has an opportunity to move on in the tournament. He could go back to face off against UncleRonny again. But for now, at least, it's definitely not too bad for him to have a performance like this in this race against UncleRonny. It's got to improve his confidence for when he's going forward into those other matches.
Yeah, and I expect him to actually start practicing now, because he knows he could win his next matchup. Ever since his last race, he said, I'm not going to play this game because I'm not going to beat Ronnie. But now he knows that he has potential to beat any of the other contestants, so...
Well, we can find out from him in just a moment, as we've got both runners from today's race, UncleRonny and TheRooseIsLoose, joining us in the channel. And Ronnie, we'll start with you. GG on the victory, and as always, you know, we tend to talk about the mistakes, so let's ask about that dash cutscene stack.
Yeah, it's never happened to me, of course, so I'm pretty confident with my dash glides, so it was a surprise, but I tried my hardest to get back there as fast as possible.
Yeah, I was pretty impressed by how quickly you got back up and recovered. Since obviously in an earlier race, we kind of saw how bad it can go if you aren't prepared for that mentally. But did that change your mindset at all going forward into the rest of the race? And of course, you can be honest on whether you thought, you know, that you were expecting to just crush Roos.
I'm not sure what I was expecting. I was like, my mindset was, all right, let's try even harder now. And that's what I tried, yeah.
Well, I also want to add, have you ever practiced getting out of there? Because I think Pixel said he just always resets at that point and he never practiced it. Have you actually put time on getting out of that situation?
No. Do that in practice.
Yeah, no one wants to practice that crap. But
because you just reset. Easier.
Alright, we are also joined by TheRooseIsLoose, and Roos, GG, that was an incredible performance. That, of course, it could have been a PB if it weren't for that one death, but overall, how did you feel about the race as a whole?
You might be having some mic problems from Roos.
Maybe mic muted?
Roos, you should click the button on your Blue Yeti.
Okay, he says hold on. So we'll go back to Ronnie for a bit. The rest of your run was just absolutely incredible, because you're so just broken of a human being that you can just play this game at such a stupid level. Maybe let me direct my next question to say, like, how do you know which segment do you most like to focus on in that end game? I know that you have a lot of really cool strats in a lot of those sections, but which one's been like your favorite, your baby?
Yeah, well, lately it's been the well, as of the last few days, it's been the boulder area, the exit from light grenade. I really like that strat, and the lower strat, because the uncancelled charge dash there gets you right on that rock that you charge jump from, and in the upper route I would do an uncancelled charge dash anyways, so it wasn't like any difference in energy. Yeah, and also Misty is always fun.
Oh my god, yes, Miss.
Yeah, definitely. Everyone's always like, that's kind of an interesting question to ask, but it's always kind of like, yeah, Misty, because it's just so beautiful to practice that area and get good at it.
All right, we got.
Even though I did die there.
That's true, but that was a pretty quick one. Wasn't that bad?
You guys hear me now?
Yes, we do.
Yes,
Yes,
there we go.
thank you.
All right, so yeah, we'll just throw that same question back to you about your overall race performance. You know, how'd you feel, kind of maybe disregarding that one death, but then also kind of taking that into consideration?
Shocked. Like pretty much the entire run, I was just kind of, plodding along like, I mean, okay, this pace is fine, but it's gonna die anytime now. And then I kept like getting tricks first try and getting tricks first try, and I was like, okay, well, it's gonna die anytime now. And then it just kept going like all the way to the end, other than the boulder death, obviously.
Yeah, it was
race
actually
treatment,
interesting because if it wasn't for your one frame followed by missing the cycle and dying to the suicide slime, you would have kept pace with Ronnie for a lot of the run. So,
Raymond, I was like consistently surprised at how close I was keeping it, and that's really all I could ask for. Like, I had no illusions that I would ever win this match, but I was glad that it at least kept it close enough that it was probably interesting to watch.
yeah, it was definitely amazing to watch.
Well, we'll go with one more question for you, Roos, and that, of course, is about your 3 prospective opponents for your next match. Those being Sully, Lurking Assassin, my co-commentator, and Smashy. Any one of those 3 could be your opponent in that match in the lower division, lower bracket finals. Of course, you already did go against Smashy. You're good friends with Lurking Assassin, and Sully is a terrifying beast. Of those 3, like, what are your thoughts? How little do you want to face any of them?
Not even one bit. This is such a scary division. Like, there's like Ronnie's the clear favorite to take first, but there are a lot of people who can very easily take second. Feeling a little better after this race because I think this runtime is either better or very close to all of their PBs. So that does make me feel a little better about going up against any of them, but it's still going to be really, really scary.
Okay, and after that, like, I think after your last match with Smashy, you said you're not gonna practice because there's no point to practice against Ronnie. But like, for now, until whenever you play either me, Smashy, or Sully, are you gonna be practicing, or are you also just gonna do Breath of the Wild and then come in blind into that match?
Well, I mean, apparently the secret to getting my best race time is don't practice, so that might actually be the best strategy here.
Fair enough.
Oh man! All right, and Ronnie, we'll come back to you. Of course, you have pushed the all skills category to a ludicrous limit, although I know that you and all the other 28 holders all believe that you can do even better. But now you've been mostly focusing on all cells, but your tournament life continues. You are in the division finals now. Of course, you're not likely to lose anytime soon. How are you going to balance that, trying to go off and do other categories while also keeping up on all skills?
I actually learned all cells, no restrictions, a little while ago, but I think I'm going to set that aside for now and just focus on all skills for the rest of the tournament. Maybe like an all cells run here and there, but mostly I'd like to keep in shape. The shape I prefer to be in,
Dang. Well, that's not the news that either Shed or I wanted to hear, as whichever of us comes out of my division is going to apparently get steamrolled by you, but oh well. Them's the breaks.
That's how the tournament works. You're gonna win until you face a 28 person.
And then when the T28s collide, oh my goodness. Well,
Black hole.
that was a really enjoyable match to watch, and GG to both of you, and of course to UncleRonny in particular for being able to move on to the division finals. And we'll see you both again in the tournament in the near future. Lurking, what have we got coming up next?
Our next matchup will be in about 15 minutes from now, which is going to be between Stefu and Oshi. So it's another match that I personally don't know what to expect from. I think it's going to be a good one, but then I think both runners have been like just doing their own things, and we don't know much from them, as in how much practice they've been putting. So it's going to be an exciting match.
That is very, very possible, and I look forward, after 4 hours of being in the commentator's chair, I look forward to sitting back and enjoying that from the audience. But in the meantime, Lurking, please enjoy the remainder of your commentary block.
Yeah, I still have 2 more matches, so if you guys are tired of listening to me already, I'm sorry, but you have 2 more hours of me.
I mean, how could you be tired of that accent? It's so nice.
Hey, I don't know.
All right, well,
Yeah.
stick around, y'all. 14 minutes, we will be right back. Same channel, Speed Gaming 2, we're not going anywhere. And we will have QQ's Defu versus Oshi.
Alright, thank you for watching. We'll be back in a few minutes.